Yo guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Chelsea Review. This is the series where I go over the weekly activities of Chelsea Football Club. So, what's been kicking off at Cobham this week? The Blues hosted West Ham on Monday night. This is an important game that we had to win if we were to get a place in the top 4. It was announced beforehand that Joao Felix will not even be on the bench for this game because of interest from AC Milan. It was also announced Philip Jorgensen would start this game over Robert Sanchez, much to the joy of the fans. This would also be the first time Graham Potter would be returning to Stamford Bridge since his sacking in April 23. It will also be a big night for Enzo Maresca as he goes against the team who gave him his first coaching job in England, when he acted as assistant to Manuel Pellegrini, back when he had a bit more hair than he does now. The game started off relatively well for Chelsea with a few good chances early on, but after missing a chance at one end, a Levi Colwill error was gifted to Jarrod Bowen, who quickly slotted the ball into the back of the other net, giving West Ham the lead. But not for long. After some quick changes in the 50th minute, Pedro Neto, who had replaced Jadon Sancho, scores the rebound of Enzo Fernandez's shot. The score is 1-1, and now it's game on. And Chelsea find the winner late on when a Cole Palmer shot takes a deflection off Aaron Wan-Bissaka, which ends up into the back of West Ham's net. And so the game ended 2-1, a lucky win for Chelsea, and a great comeback from the home side as well. This is in fact Chelsea's first game since 2013 in which they won after going behind at home. It was an unlucky error from Levi Colwill. The only takeaway from that is to ensure none of those keep happening. Pedro Neto had a great impact off the bench. He's my man of the match for this game. And we can now see how Enzo Maresca is using substitutes earlier, which are having a great impact on the game. So there have been some lessons learned, but some other lessons that need to be learned. And with that, we turn to the Brighton game. Do we have to? Chelsea went away to the Amex Stadium last Saturday in the 4th round of the FA Cup. This is what I like to call the Brighton Derby. Why do I say that? Well, mainly because half our squad played for Brighton. Robert Sanchez, Levi Colwill, Marc Cucurella, Moises Caicedo. Actually, wait, no, given our squad size, that's like a 10th. Anyway, after coming off a win against West Ham, most Chelsea fans had high hopes. However, we shouldn't have been so positive. Nicholas Jackson and Mark Guiu were both ruled out for injury, which meant Christopher Nkunku would have to start up front. But that's not all. To rest Philip Jorgensen for the next league game, Maresca had to start Robert Sanchez in goal. Oh, for fuck's sake. Yeah, I had high hopes for this game, but after seeing the starting 11, I should have realised we were fucked. As I should have foreseen, they both played like shit. But more on that later. But being the young, naive and carefree child I am, I had some hopes, especially when we scored within 5 minutes. A Cole Palmer shot was horribly misjudged by Brighton goalkeeper Verbruggen, who helped it into his own net. May I just point out, this is the second Cole Palmer goal that was given as an own goal. The poor boy was probably thinking that the referee was taking his goals from him. So, inside 5 minutes, we were 1-0 up. But not for long. A break from Hinchelwood and Cobham graduate Tariq Lamptey found Jorginho Rutter, who had ghosted in between our two centre-backs, and headed the ball home. Our lead had barely lasted 10 minutes. And this game only got worse for us. With some unlucky chances for us, it seemed more likely Brighton would score again, and they eventually did. In the 57th minute, Jorginho Rutter found Kaoru Mitoma, who lifted the ball over Robert Sanchez and bounced into the Chelsea net. Chelsea did make some substitutions to try and save the game, but it was all to no avail. Chelsea would lose this game 2-1 and be knocked out of the FA Cup in the 4th round. This now means that we've only won 3 of our last 10 games in all competitions. So, what went wrong? Well, I think the injuries to our 2 strikers is the main reason that we got screwed. Nkunku by trade is not a striker, but he has to play like one because he's all we have. Even then, he's not getting the game time he wants, which means he's being extremely lazy. And in this game, he spent more time with Moises Caicedo in the middle of the pitch than up front. Speaking of Nkunku, the Frenchman has been labelled a total waste of money after his poor display last week. I mean, I can understand why people are saying that. This is a player who has seen most of the league from the bench. This has caused him to lose all motivation whatsoever. But it's frustrating when he actually gets a chance to play and he goes out of his way to essentially just give out a good old-fashioned censored to the fans and the club by doing hardly anything for a whole 90 minutes. This guy got a 6.4 rating on FOTMob. He created one chance and his XG was horrendous. I've said it before and I'll say it again. It's clear this guy does not want to be here anymore. The only reason he's being played is because there's no one else left. Nicholas Jackson is out until April with a thigh injury, and Mark Guiu is out until early March with a hamstring injury. At least he didn't have to leave the stadium on crutches. We even recalled Datro Fofana from his loan to help us with our striker issue. Can he help us? I guess not, because he's out injured for the rest of the season. So now we're knocked out of the Carabao Cup. We're now also knocked out of the FA Cup. We're not winning the league. Liverpool have that in the bag. And I highly doubt we're winning the Conference League because we loaned out half of our B team. Great. So no trophies coming our way this season. Well, at least we won't have to see Brighton anytime soon, I'm sure. You've actually got to be kidding me, man. We just played them, now we have to play them again. Yeah, fuck Valentine's Day, man. I've kissed the Chelsea badge more times than I've ever kissed a woman. This video is also going to come out while I'm probably watching the game anyway. And that's why you should subscribe so you don't miss out on when I upload the review on that game. Hopefully, Jorgensen should start this game over Sanchez. But things may be looking up. Reece James is expected to play in this game. Hopefully this time he doesn't get sent off for being stupid. Wesley Fofana has also returned to training, meaning he should be back in 2 to 3 weeks. But Nkunku will still have to start up front, so it's not all great. But we may not have to use him if we use a false 9 formation. What's a false 9 formation, you ask? Well, I'm glad you ask. It is now time for Tactics with Liam. So this is a typical false 9 formation. A false 9 formation is a bit similar to a 4-3-3 formation. However, unlike a typical 4-3-3, the wingers would get to move forward more as the striker would go into the midfield. Hey, this is perfect for Nkunku. This kind of formation would work really well with really fast wingers, so it would be possible for like Pedro Neto and Mudryk. However, Mudryk's on the cusp of being banned for doping, so he couldn't really do it. However, Sancho and Madueke, for that matter, are both fairly pacey, so they could both fit that role. Then Palmer could play as a false 9, with Caicedo as the DM and Enzo and Dewsbury Hall as the centre mids. Then this way, Chelsea can still keep their spine, but it's been altered to fit the players that are still available. However, it seems more likely that Maresca will keep doing what he has been doing before and play the 4-2-3-1 system. But if you need a change, just watch the last few minutes. We'll see what happens tonight. Anyway, on to the transfers. Here we go. Right, Crystal Palace agree a deal to sign Ben Chilwell on loan from us. And that's not the only here we go, as Carney Chukwuemeka is also going on loan to Dortmund until June. Axel Disasi has finally been loaned out to Aston Villa. If any of you are unaware, Disasi had agreed personal terms with Villa, while Chelsea had agreed terms with Tottenham. So there was kind of a stalemate for a bit, but now that song's all over with Disasi going to Villa. He'll be back in June. There were rumours Aaron Anselmino was to go to Marseille on loan. However, it has been confirmed by Enzo Maresca that he will stay at the club. However, the same cannot be said for defender Caleb Wiley. The American was recalled from his loan at Strasbourg only to go out on loan to Championship side Watford. This was certainly a transfer no one saw coming. There is also news regarding Christopher Nkunku and Matis Tel. Unfortunately, Christopher Nkunku will not go out on loan to any club despite interest from Bayern and Manchester United. Chelsea are not keen to loan him, and £60 million is too much for any club to come up with in this little time. So we're stuck with Nkunku until the end of the season now. There is some unfortunate news regarding Matis Tel. The 19-year-old will go to Tottenham on loan. His salary at Bayern will also be covered by Spurs. I'd say we missed out on a very good player there. He could have been our primary striker now Guiu and Jackson are injured. Now there were also rumours that Georgi Petrovic could return from his loan at Strasbourg. Turns out that was never going to happen. I guess it was just the fans praying then. It has also been reported that Chelsea are interested in Manchester City younger Nico O'Reilly. But after Cole Palmer, Man City are not keen to let another academy graduate go to Chelsea. But in some late news, Chelsea signed 19-year-old Mathis Amugu from Saint-Etienne for €15 million. So we needed a striker and instead we go for a CDM. Cool. But that's not all Todd Boehly's been up to. In the last week, Chelsea have signed 16-year-old striker Dastan Satpayev from Kazakhstan. No, are you kidding me now? This guy has only just done his GCSEs, now he's agreed a deal with Chelsea. We're going to have a squad of teenagers in a few years. In the summer we're getting Willian Esteval and Kendry Pires. Now we're going to get this kid as well. Where are we going to play them as well? We already have like 8 wingers. In the summer we'll have 10. I think someone needs to tell Todd Boehly that it's okay not to sign anyone in the transfer window. This guy has bought players in bulk and all of these players have no experience whatsoever because they're so young. We're definitely not getting Champions League anytime soon. It's honestly more likely we'll get a transfer ban instead. Honestly though, I think that's what Todd Boehly needs to actually stop buying players.
Chelsea have just got to stop buying players.
Oh, but that's not all. Over the last week, Chelsea have signed rugby star Willie Issa to bring some leadership and a winning mentality to Stamford Bridge. Okay, someone needs to check Todd Boehly's IQ. This guy hired a rugby player for a football team. That's like hiring a fucking boxing player for a cricket team. It's ridiculous. Actually, speaking of cricket teams, Todd Boehly has also bought a 49% stake in the 100 club Trent Rockets. So, in the last week, the owners have bought a 16-year-old from Kazakhstan, bought a share in a cricket club, and hired a rugby player. And this is going to help out Chelsea how? This ownership actually confuses me, man. One week we're overspending like crazy on 20 players. The next week we're buying things that have nothing to do with football in any way, shape or form. Just like, what is going on? This club is going absolutely nowhere under the current ownership, and unless something doesn't happen soon, this club will suffer. So, in summary, we've won only 3 of our last 10 games in all competitions, our owners suck, and we have had to play Brighton twice in a week. What the hell, man? I honestly think the game is gone. I'm just going to have to wrap up this week's episode here. If you enjoyed, please be sure to smash the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. That's all from me. Thank you and goodbye.